Hello and welcome to another macro video. Today we're looking at Word 365's Dictate facility. Now I was Skyping an editor in Spain about some macro problems, and she was using a thing called Dragon, which is an amazing system, and I realized that it would be a real time saver for me because it allows you to dictate stuff very quickly. The downside is, though, that it's £140. But the good news is that Word 365 has a Dictate facility. So let me give you a quick demo. So if you bring in a blank document, then on the ribbon in the top here, you've got the Dictate icon. So I'm going to click that, do some speech, and then we'll see how it fares. Dictation lets you use speech to text to author content in Office with a microphone and reliable internet connection, full stop. That was from the help screen information. Anyway, it's very impressive, comma, isn't it? Question mark. There you go. So it's followed me. It hasn't actually made any mistakes, I don't think, but it does make mistakes, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the point to note about it, compared with Dragon, is that it is dictation only. It doesn't have any what you might call command and control, because this lady was trying to run macros for me so that I can work out what was going wrong, and she said macros, Fredit, run, which called up the macros window, then ran, selected Fredit, and then ran it. Fine, but that's not available in Dictate. But it does have the dictation, which is what will save me a lot of time, because I use keystrokes for running macros anyway. So the facilities that it has, it can do multiple languages, it does punctuation, as you've already seen, and the question in my mind is, does it learn? Well, I don't believe it does, in fact, but we'll come on to that in a minute. So multiple languages, if you look at the underneath the icon there's a down arrow, click that and you've got a whole series of languages there to select. I've put them here so we can see them more easily. So they're in two sets, one at the top and a lower one here which says preview languages, and you've got three versions of English there and some other languages, and as I understand it, the preview languages are ones where they haven't quite got the facility working as they would like. And in fact, when I first started doing this, English Canada was down amongst the preview languages, and then the following day I noticed that it was back up on, it was up on the top there. So in other words, it looks like they've done work on it and they're now happy to put it not in the preview languages but in the ones at the top. So next facility it's got is punctuation, and here are the punctuation items that it provides. Not huge, but it's a basic set. And I asked the question, does it learn? And the answer is it doesn't, unless anybody knows better. But then I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, if it makes mistakes, then Fredit could correct the mistakes. So that started me on a track where I developed a system, which I'm going to show you eventually, but not in this video. One of the problems was that when I started, I used the word John, and it came out as Jawn, with whatever that is, and for some reason or other, because came out as becauser, but of course Fredit can change it, so we could have a Fredit script like that and make the changes. So let's have a go at that. So we need a new document. Let's get rid of that. Let's have my words here for my Fredit list, put them in there, and then I can select the text there and run Fredit. and there we are, it's corrected the mistakes. So there is hope. We can improve on the system that we've got by using macros. And I started with a macro that I've now called dictafredit, because it's a combination of the facilities of Fredit and it's all related to the dictation. So there we go. It's still under development, and the problem I'm having is that I'm trying to write up about it to put it in my book, and that as soon as I start describing it and saying how it works and what it does, I keep getting more ideas for it. And this is well known to programmers. It's a disease called creeping featureism. Anyway, let me give you a couple of examples of what we can get it to do. So the idea is that we dictate some text, and I'll show you how we can correct it. I've put dictate up on the top of the screen there as well. Sorry about that. New line. I want to go to Peter '(s) house tomorrow, full stop. New line, new line. Did the Romans, italic, really, italic off, invade Britain in 55, small caps BC, small caps off, question mark? Right, so let's try that. Get rid of that bit which was me talking. So if I select that and run dictafredit, with a bit of luck it might, yes it does. Okay, so it's got Peter's, it's got really in italic, and it's got 55 BC. And as an example of the creeping featureism that I was telling you about, let's try this. Google the highest mountain in the world. Sorry, it's supposed to be in blue, but never mind. So I run dictafredit, and up she comes. So it's launched that to Google. Right, so let's move that out of the way. Let's try another one. Map home to Sainsbury's. Switch off and run dictafredit. And what do we get? Eventually, up she comes, and there's the map of my house to Sainsbury's. You see what I mean about creeping featureism? I'm thinking of all sorts of other things I can do with it. Anyway, that's just about it for now. I'm going to be doing more work on the macro and hopefully making it better, giving it more features and writing it up. But I'm going to do some videos to demonstrate. I'm going to give you a general introduction to dictafredit. Then I'm going to do, there's so many facilities, one about tailoring dictafredit to the way that you speak. And then I'm going to do another video about using it for other applications, and in particular obviously for things to do with editing. Now I'm not releasing it until it's really ready, but if you would be interested, I could do with a few people to actually beta test it to try and make it better before I release it generally. So if you'd be interested to have a play, then email me and we can talk about it, and I can send you a copy with the instructions such as they are at the moment. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.